Greg Heffley is a beta male. In Diary of a Wimpy Kid Double Down, he holds a crush on this girl named Becky since elementary school. In fact, whenever he'd play the game MASH, he would always write her name down so that she would be his wife in the future. And to this day, he believes that they are destined to get married. Speaking of lab partners, Greg is such a beta that he cannot even ask out a girl who sits next to him for 45 minutes every single day to the school dance. I don't think Greg is just good enough to have a shot with anyone, as we saw in Diary of a Wimpy Kid the Third Wheel, that he was part of a few boys that were not chosen as dance partners during the school's physical education unit. Putting aside crushes and not being able to talk to girls, Greg has incredibly strange dreams, such as that of him in a tutu dancing around a field of flowers. Now, going back to some of his interactions with women, Greg, for some reason, doesn't even want to make eye contact with Heather Hills. Instead, he is just making casual, sarcastic remarks that aren't really directed toward anyone, but is just trying to draw attention to himself. Greg is also so addicted to television and video games and the internet that he can't even go a couple of days without them. Greg is also not the strongest person physically, as he struggles to do sit-ups, and even once asked his PE teacher if he could do them at home, and as proof that he did them, he put on his mother's mascara and drew a six-pack. Furthermore, Greg has embarrassed his extended family on multiple occasions, such as in Diary of a Wimpy Kid The Last Straw, where after he was holding hands with Uncle Joe at a church, he turned around to the other members of the church and basically indicated that Uncle Joe was crazy for holding out his hand while singing. If you ask me, that is pretty disrespectful to do that to your uncle, and especially in a house of God. Greg is also incredibly unpopular and does not even have a place to sit at the lunch table in Diary of a Wimpy Kid Hard Luck. He is even less popular than Fregley, who is probably the weirdest kid at his school, but Fregley was actually able to turn around his social status, while Greg seemed to do a complete 180. Oh, and speaking of Fregley, he is so beta that he gets confused with him by his crush. And as if he wasn't in touch with his feminine side enough, he takes a girl's bicycle and basically uses it to go to the pool. And last but not least, Greg Heffley actually enjoys going to a women's hair salon and catching up on the town's gossip, even if he doesn't need a haircut. And based on this drawing, it looks like he's really into women's fashion magazines too.